Hi guys, we are just giving a couple of more minutes for other people to join in as well. So let's wait for another couple of more minutes. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining in. We have quite a few attendees already in, and I can see more joining in. So let's give 30 seconds to one more minute, and we'll start. All right. I guess we are good to go. So hope everyone has joined in, and really would like to welcome and thank each one of you for taking time off your busy schedules. Just a brief introduction on myself. My name is Raj Kashyap, and I manage Prosite accounts in India and Southeast Asia region. The purpose of this webinar is to help you understand how Pluralsight can address skill gaps through guided learning. And we have our Customer Success Manager, Sugam Agarwal, to take you through the learning journey with Pluralsight. And it's based on his own personal experiences. So over to you, Sugam.
Thanks, Raj. Thanks so much. Hey, everyone. Thank you for joining today. I hope you're keeping well and staying safe where you are. As Raj has introduced, my name is Sugam and I'm one of the customer success managers at Pluralsight. Just to start with a little background about myself, I'm an engineering graduate from electronics and communication domain. I have been in Pluralsight for around 4 months. However, I have been a Pluralsight customer myself for 4 years, since my last role was a technical consultant in Citrix Systems. Well, you heard it right. I have been on the other side of this webinar, and now that I have a chance to actually deliver one, I intend to share my Pluralsight scaling up experience and show you how you can close your technical skill gaps, align learning to your objectives, and achieve successful technology development. This will essentially give you the clarity around the right skills in the right order. Now, before we begin, please note that this webinar is being recorded, and if you have already registered, you will receive an email with the recording as well. So no need to record this at your end. And thanks to the folks who are watching a recording of this webinar at later point in time. As we start, I will take 35 to 40 minutes giving you an idea about how you address your skill gaps using Pluralsight, followed by a 15 minutes Q&A session towards the end. Although you all are mute by default, please be ready with any questions that pop up in your mind and just post it using the Q&A button that you see on your screens. Before we begin, I would like to understand how many of you are using Pluralsight, how many of you have the licenses, and how many of you are new to it and ready to explore. So I'm going to run a quick poll on your screens where all you need to do is select your answer and submit. So you should be able to see the poll now. All right, so you got 30 seconds. If you're not able to find the poll on your screens and using multiple screen, please ensure that you're looking at all the screens available to you. And you are left with 15 more seconds. All right, that's a pretty good number that I see on the screen now. So it's a pretty simple question. Do you have a Pluralsight license? Yes or no? And I'm going to close it in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right. So 90% of you have voted that you have a Pluralsight license, and the rest 10% have voted that you're ready to explore through this webinar. Sounds great. So you will be getting a couple of interesting polls like this in between, so you better be ready for it. Yeah. I'd like to share with you Murray's law. In 1965, Gordon Murray noticed that the number of transistors per square inch in a circuit had doubled every 24 months. In other words, processor speeds in computers will double every 2 years. Isn't that amazing to see where we were and where we are today? Our research shows that the same law applies today in programming languages. In a shortened time frame of 18 months, the number of languages doubles, and that progression is still going. Now, this illustration shows the evolution of programming languages that supports our take on Murray's law. The top line is the pace of change. Historically, we started with only a couple of programming languages like COBOL, SQL, C. And as we have progressed over time to today, we have over 250 programming languages currently in use. The top languages average around 8 significant updates per year. So if you're a typical coding developer, you might utilize around 4 programming languages. So as you can see, it's very difficult to keep up with the pace of change. The bottom line indicates the pace of learning, and the middle area, the checked one, indicates the skill gap. This highlights how business critical it is to develop a learning culture and how business critical it is for you to be continuously learning. Now that we have identified this problem and need, how can we keep up with the pace of change, and how can we constantly be learning? Think about it. If you do not develop a mature learning culture, where do you think you will be in 5 years' time? Have a think about learning culture in your organization. What do people think about learning? Is it valued? Do leaders promote it? If they do, did you make learning a habit yet? We work with a lot of different companies in strategic capacity, and we really feel that this model shows the various stages our customers find themselves at with learning and learning maturity, as well as the innovation within the organization. We'll quickly look through the stages. Getting started is when an organization might have purchased learning and made it available to the staff, to you. Gaining momentum is when you have realized what skills are required and what and where your skill gaps are, and you start to take action in closing those gaps. Directed learning is the stage when business needs have been defined and you start to direct learning towards those goals and initiatives. Optimized is essentially a stage where you have the ability to create custom learning towards achieving your objectives and a way to measure progress too. And skill-driven innovation towards the end is where you realign resources based on the skill sets. Now, as you are looking at this, where do you see yourself in your organization? Well, I'm here to help you out with that. Pluralsight is a technology skills platform which allows you to measure and evolve the skills you need. I will be aligning our skills platform with these 4 stages of learning that you see on the screen. So let's say I am a software developer and I'm using object-oriented programming with Java. And I know bits and pieces of other programming languages too. Now with the change in my project requirement or the business, I'm actually supposed to keep myself updated with the latest technologies in the market. What do I do? Or let's say I have to develop a task tracking app using Razor Pages, and I'm supposed to use ASP.NET Core and C#. However, I don't have much knowledge on C#, or I don't know if I know what I know about C#. Well, when I have Pluralsight, I would start evaluating myself to understand where I am today and what skills do I need to work on. Pluralsight provides you with a structured upskilling method where you don't need to spend time searching for the content. It essentially helps you aligning your objectives based on your identified gaps. Our platform gives you the hands-on experience, which is one of the most important areas in scaling up. So enough said, let's go ahead and show you what I mean. And I would suggest go ahead and navigate to app.pluralsight.com and log in with your registered email address there if you have an account. And don't worry if you don't have it, good to start with a trial for now. Now, as you log in for the first time, all you got to do is mark your areas of interest so that the recommendations are aligned to your technology areas. Once you do that, boom, you're in. This is how you would see your homepage. Home is your personalized page, which gives you insights about what you're currently learning. You can set your weekly targets here, get notified on your progress. It gives you ideas about the recommended courses based on your interest, and it also gives you the latest content added to the platform. You could also use our predictive search bar, which allows you to search for specific courses of technology you're interested to explore and learn. So I will be referring to the slides as I go in order to elaborate on each stage of learning. Let's start with how we help you evaluate or measure your skills first. To me, it's not just about measuring the skills using the assessments that we have. It's also giving you an idea of your strengths and your weaknesses, what your skill gaps are that you need to focus on. For that, we have two amazing capabilities on the platform, which are Skill IQ and Role IQ. We have got Pluralsight IQ, which is powered by Iris. That's our machine learning algorithm. Iris is a new way to measure and evolve the technology skills. She powers our assessment algorithms and guides you to the skills you need now. The more you learn about technology, the more Iris learns about you. She uses the data to create a smarter, personalized skill development journey. Now, you can find Skill IQ and Role IQ in the Browse page here on the top left corner. And you have to just click on Browse and then go to Role IQ and Skill IQ on the right bottom corner here. Now, since I'm here on this page, let me tell you that this gives you certain technology pillars which resonate to the role you're in, like software development, IT ops, cybersecurity, be it a creative role that you are in, be it a manufacturing role. So getting to Skill IQ, you'll find a number of assessments, just like you click on Skill IQ. This is the page that you will see. These assessments are curated by our expert authors, and all you need to do is click on Measure Now if you would like to take a skill assessment. If you have already taken one, you can click on View IQ Details. You would see certain assessments in a beta phase. That means that we are still building that up for you. That does not mean that you cannot take those assessments. You can, but you won't be scored yet. So you would help us calibrate those assessments. Now let me click on one of these assessments. As I click on Measure Now, I just want to give you an idea about how it looks like. All right, so let's go ahead and click on one which I have not taken yet or which I have not started yet. So let's go to IT outsourcing. All right. Now, as you start the adaptive test, you get presented with 20 timed multiple choice questions, where Iris, you remember the machine learning algorithm I talked about, that controls the question complexity. And you would see a timer on the right side, and the timer time is controlled or is based on the complexity of the question as well. So once you're done, your Skill IQ score will be between 0 to 300 and broken down into 3 percentiles, that is novice, proficient, and expert. The best part is, based on your answers, you get to see your strengths and gaps on the bottom right corner here. And not just that, Pluralsight presents you with recommended courses based on each skill gap and guided learning paths as well, which I will talk about in a bit. Now, similar to Skill IQ, we have Role IQ, which is essentially a combination of different skills that form a modern job role. The skills are not just for the main technologies for that role, but also look into adjacent technologies that are required to succeed in a role. Let's take an example. So I already have one Role IQ open for me to save bandwidth for the during this webinar. Now this one is for ASP.NET Web Developer as a role. Now, if you see on the screen, it is a combination of different skills that are required to be ASP.NET Web Developer. You need to learn C#, you need to have knowledge on ASP.NET Core, MVC, you need to know about data modeling. So as each skill assessment is completed here or taken, you get the personalized content in order to work through each skill. Once the entire role IQ is complete, you would see an overall role IQ level and the summary. Pluralsight has helped me, learn to appear for various internal interviews and in my previous company, and helped me in successful transition from one role to another. Like I was a technical lead, and it helped me transition to an escalation engineer, from there to a consultant, and then to a lead consultant. I find Pluralsight IQ really interesting because there is a story behind it. So when I was working with Citrix as a consultant, I was a lead to around 10 other consultants there, and I was an SME, subject matter expert in certain areas of technology. Since I was using Pluralsight for learning, there was this one day when my manager suggested, hey Sugam, why don't you try this skill IQ and role IQ and see what you know and what you can do better. So I did open role IQ, just like this one on the screen here. And trust me, it seemed to me as a Jarvis program from the Iron Man movies. You will understand if you're a Marvel's fan. Believe me, that was my first reaction. But anyway, I kept on thinking whether I should take the skill assessment or I should not. The reason behind thinking too much was I was expert in certain tech areas and my team had trust on me. They looked at me as someone to guide them technically, but I was under the impression that if I take the IQ test, what if I don't score well? My manager would know, my team would know, and I would be kind of embarrassed. So there, I never took assessment back in the day. But guess what? I was wrong and it was all a myth. Now that I know how valuable skill and role IQ are, I can tell you better. Your scores are personal to you. Your teams, your managers cannot see your score. So go ahead. I would strongly recommend everyone to always start with a skill IQ and role IQ. Now, before we move to next stage, let's do another poll to see if you're actually paying attention. So I'm just going to launch a quick poll on your screen. So again, that's the same situation. You get 30 seconds to answer. How many questions are on the skill IQ? That's the question. So let's see if you were paying attention. Again, if you're not able to find the poll where it is on your screen, please make sure you use all the screens and search for it. And you have just 3 options, 25 questions, 20 questions, or not sure. You may want to watch the recording later on. All right, so I'm gonna close the poll in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, I'm not gonna share the answers with you, by the way. This is just for my info if you're paying attention or not. So moving ahead to the next one. Once you know your skill gaps, remember that I told you about the guided learning paths that you can follow to close those gaps. Now, we provide you with predefined and structured learning paths, as well as the option for you to customize your learning journey through channels. Now, here you get to see a variety of paths, and this it is a similar situation. You just go to browse and you go to paths from here, or alternatively, you can directly switch to paths by clicking on this. Now, again, since I'm saving time and the bandwidth, I already have paths open in front of me. You would see a variety of guided learning paths here, and you can choose, where you want to start after you've taken the skill IQ. Another way to do it is you would see some will have skill IQ associated with a path, or others may not, like this one. So let me open one of them and let me show you how it looks like. The courses in a path are structured into 3 levels for your ease. One is beginner, followed by intermediate, and then advanced. If you have already taken a skill assessment based on your score, it will save you time. And how? You would look at Active Directory administration that I have recently taken like 2 times. And you could see that I have already passed the beginner level course. So I don't need to spend 3 hours and 20 minutes watching the beginner level courses, because I do have that knowledge that covers in the beginner level courses. So I can directly start with intermediate level, right? So that this will give you insights about how you use a skill IQ, followed by how you use paths to close your skill gaps. So under paths, we do have variety of certification paths, which help you prepare for industry level certifications. So all you got to do is just go to paths and click on certifications. These level certifications will have practice exams as well. And to identify that, just look for a check mark with the practice exam. Others will have a course structure. So I'm just going to open one of these here. I think I already have one open in front of me. So you watch the courses and then you take the practice exam. Let me show you how the practice exam looks like. So we have partnered with Kaplan, and all you got to do is just click on go to Kaplan. It gives you certain simulations. It gives you the practice exams along with the simulations. You could use the flashcards. You could track your performance, how you have done with the mock test, with the mock quiz as a part of certification tests. So I would strongly recommend, please go ahead and do take certifications as a part of parts. Since parts are predefined by our expert authors, we do have channels. So I'm just going to give you an idea about channels. All you got to do is just alongside path, you would have an option of clicking on channels. As you click on that, you can create your own channels where you could customize and organize the content based on your requirement. However, I would still suggest you to review the paths page and start there to align learning to your key objectives. If you need something specific just for yourself or your teams, you could use channels as well and structure it as per your requirement. Now, moving to the next stage. For any role we all know or any skill that you learn, it's of vital importance to have hands-on experience and testing your knowledge. For that, we have interactive courses as well as projects. And we're coming up soon with cloud labs on Azure, AWS, and Google Cloud. Let me start with interactive courses because I'm pretty sure you will be interested in exploring what interactive courses is all about. So again, the same situation, you just need to go to browse and click on interactive courses here, and you will be presented with a list of interactive courses from various technologies, right? Now, I have an example already. So just to give you an overview, you have to click on see details, and that's how you would see the interactive course for the hands-on learning experience. It typically starts with a video and then followed by some challenges where you get in-browser coding experience within Pluralsight. So let me give you an example about how an interactive course challenge looks like and how do you actually code within the browser. Here we are building a web-based application using .NET framework. So this interactive code guides you in understanding what ASP.NET MVC is and how we can create the app through various challenges along with guided learning, right? On the left side, you would see a challenge overview followed by the task. And on the right side, you would see where you actually code. And the bottom would have slides, or if you're using an HTML-based interactive course, you would see a preview of that HTML code as well. So on line 1, I have to set this views model to be a string. Now, since I have already gone through this course, I know that's just pretty simple. I have to just have a model and then make a string and change this to model. All right, and then just click on submit. We'll start evaluating whether the answer is right or not by, you can just figure it out using this button here. In the meantime, if you think that you don't know the answer or you need some sort of hints, click on rewatch video clip. The beauty about it is actually takes you right to the point where the instructor has talked about this particular task or this particular part of the interactive course, right? You could see the answer, you could submit the feedback if you think there is something else that you need. And the second task that I have is I have to just replace the hard-coded value to be dynamic. So I know that I have to just replace it with capital M, just going to submit it again. And I know for a fact that it is going to be true, right? Besides interactive courses, as hands-on learning, we have projects which allows you to use what you have learned on Prosite and provide you with hands-on experience on your local computer. So as you follow along with the cited provided tasks like this one, so all you got to do is implementing OAuth with Node.js, click on see details. Again, you will have the setup, you will have certain tasks and challenges, and it allows you to download the projects onto your local computer, build the real world application, and then submit it. We'll evaluate it for you. The difference between an interactive course and project is an interactive course is one technology or language or framework. However, a project is, it covers everything and all the text required to complete that, right? So that was just a quick overview about project. You can find projects right from the browse page again. The browse is your go-to page, to be very honest, right? You find the projects here. The next that I'm going to talk about is the newly introduced feature that is upcoming is labs. And let me just show you how labs look like. So again, you can find it using Browse and go to Labs. With Labs, you will learn how to set up and manage cloud infrastructure from experts while working in a real AWS, Azure, or Google Cloud account provided by Prosite. Labs is in partnership with Quick Labs, and it's still in the beta phase, so you may or may not see that in just yet, but let me give you a quick sneak peek into it. So as you select one of the labs from this, I have one open, I think for me, building an AWS EC2 auto scaling group with load balancing. You would see there will be certain challenges. You can view the information about the challenges, and all you got to do is just click on Start Lab. And we will start provisioning the lab for you on cloud, and we will provide you with credentials to log in and simulate, right? So on the left side, you would see the time remaining for getting this lab provision for you. You could track the progress. On the right side, you would have the account ID, you would have the username and password. And as you click on Open AWS console, in this case, I'm doing it from AWS, not from Azure or Google Cloud. So you would see that you will be prompted to log in, and you could use these credentials to log in once the lab is prepared. So I know, being a techie, having a technical background, I know how important it is to see something in practical rather than just reading about it. So I've given you an idea about interactive courses. I've given you an idea about projects and the newly upcoming feature that is going to be labs. I'm pretty sure that will be really helpful to you. So moving on to the next stage in our learning journey, that is quantify. Now, since we assist you with these learning stages, we also understand that you would want to see what you have learned and what you are currently working on. So right from your homepage, as I described earlier in the beginning of the session, you could set your personal goals. You could set it to 10 minutes a week. I need to have like 40 minutes in a week just dedicated to learning. I need to have 2 hours in a week. So based on your schedule, based on your calendar, you could schedule a time here and ensure that you and track whether you have completed your goal or not. I'll just give you a quick example. So if you go to my home, I have set it to 60 minutes per week, and I see that I have already achieved that. 76 minutes this week. I still have days left, right? So I have a room to accommodate more. So maybe next time I'll go for more, right? Also, you have an option to go to your profile. So all you need to do is just click on profile. It will take you right here. Your profile gives you the ability to participate in any community you would like by showing your Pluralsight skills, accomplishments, including a gravatar, courses you have worked on, and courses you have completed, skills you have earned. We understand the value of privacy, and at the same time, we understand that learning can be a big community building activity. Your profile should be a showcase for your learning progress and achievements, at least to the extent you would like to share. You have privacy controls on your profile, so you can choose to keep your profile completely private if you want to. And you could just do that by just clicking on this option that is visible to public, or you can just keep it private to yourself. You remember I talked about the interest page. If you think that you have missed to select this, you still can go to your profile and select the interest and the knowledge areas here. You could track your view time. You could see what you're currently learning, what is the most viewed subject based on the history, and what are the skill IQs, and what is the proficiency level in terms of skill IQ and role IQ that you have, right? What you're currently learning. So feel free to engage with your profile section as well. That gives you insight. And don't forget to engage with support if you have certain queries. So all you got to do is just click on Get Support at the bottom right corner, and you can request the support now. You can provide the content feedback. You can suggest us in case you have any new features in the mind about the platform, overall website feedback, or else if you think that there is some content, some particular content that you're looking for on the platform and you don't find it, so feel free to provide new content suggestions. So using the Get Support button, you can directly send an email then here using your email address specified, right? Along with that, similarly, you can provide feedback. It opens up the similar format. And in other cases, if you have questions, you could always visit our help center. How to videos, they're pretty cool. And I'm pretty sure most of your questions will be answered in the how to videos or help center. That's how, I have learned for sure. So yeah, with this, I am going to launch another poll. I'm not going to leave you guys with the polls here. So I'm going to launch another poll and see if you were actually paying attention. So the question again is pretty simple. Where do you find interactive courses, projects, and labs? Right? You get 4 options, you get 30 seconds, and you're left with 25 seconds now. So go ahead and vote for it based on your understanding, based on what you think, where you can find interactive courses, projects, and labs. I've seen a lot of you people have already answered. Yeah, so I'm just going to close it in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, the poll is closed. So yeah, with this, I'm going to move to the Q&A session. I am actually pretty impressed because we have got a lot of questions here, which is really good. And it indicates that you guys were paying attention. And don't worry, I'm going to answer all of your questions right here, as well as over an email. So considering the time, Raj has been very kind to pick the top 5 questions for us. Hey, Raj.
Yeah. Thanks, Vishal. Sorry, Sugam. The question is from Vishal. I got confused. Apologies. So one question is regarding the channels. Can I create my own channel?
All right, great question, Vishal. Thank you for that. Yes, you can create your own channel, adding the content that you choose is right for you. However, I would still recommend that you review the paths first, as we discussed, because we do have guided learning paths which will save you time. But in case you would like to create channels for yourself, all you got to do is just go to channels, and then you have an option of creating the channels there. To find more information regarding creating channels, you could also visit the Health Center, like I mentioned before, and you could also look at the how-to videos. Yeah, I hope that will help you, Vishal, to get started curating some content for yourself. Perfect, Raj. Next question, please.
I've got another question from Sunita. How does Pluralsight publish the content? Do we have skill assessments on React Native?
All right, that's an excellent question. Well, Pluralsight takes a data-driven approach to skill development, prioritizing the role-based market data, because it's a collection of skills that makes up a role vital to any company's success. We determine the most in-demand technology roles through strategic analysis of thousands of existing job roles and the new job listings as well. We leverage something called as Pluralsight Technology Index, which is a continuous qualitative input from our curriculum SMEs as well. Now, publishing the content isn't our finish line. We continually measure the quality using 3 components. One is sentiment, another one is engagement, and the third one is freshness. So sentiment and engagement is how users interact with and perceive our content. Example, at what point in a course does a user or you disengage? Freshness comes into the picture where our machine learning algorithm provides with an automated measurement of freshness for the entire library based on like publication or the last updates, changes in the user behavior, or the changes in the unique viewers. In terms of React Native for iOS and Android, that's a good question because we have other customers who have reached out to us regarding that as well. And the good news is we are upcoming with React Native for iOS and Android in the next quarter or by the next quarter. However, we do have courses on React Native. We do have assessments on React as well. So I hope this helped you, Sunita. Raj, before we go forward, I'm not really sure if you guys are actually able to see my camera. Are you?
No, we cannot see you. We see a blank screen.
I'm just going to do it again. All right, that could be a bandwidth issue, I believe, because I am switching on and off the camera, but it doesn't really work.
Either we see Prosite logo or we see a black screen. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'll leave it to Prosite logo because I'm not sure why the camera is not working right now. Initially it was. Okay. All right, let's move to next question, Raj, please.
Yeah, I've got a question from Jose. Does Prosite has courses in languages other than English?
Thank you for asking this, Jose. We do have captions or subtitles for 100% of our courses. So you can select the language you want and turn on the captions. So just to give you a little idea, you could actually go to any course. Let me actually open one course here and give you an idea about how it looks like. So you could control the playback speed of the video from 5x to 2x, and you could turn on the captions. So I'm just going to open one video here that will give you insights about how do you look at it. All right, let me just pause it for a bit. All right, so you go to settings, you go to captions, and just select the language you want the subtitles or captions in, and you select it from here. You could choose the speed, playback speed as per your convenience. And apart from this, you should also be able to look at the transcript for your ease. And the beauty about transcript is as you select to any of the text here, you could actually do just Control F. For example, I'm looking for Microsoft Azure virtual machines. Now, if I'm looking specifically something about virtual machines, I can probably look at managing virtual machine, machine disks module. So as you click on it, it takes you right to the point in the video where the instructor was actually talking about it. Yeah, I hope this answers your questions and more in terms of the captions and how to best utilize the video player for your ease. Thank you so much for the question, Jose. Raj, next question, please.
Great. I think I'm going to deflect this question to AJ, who is the panelist from Prosite.
Sure.
Question coming from Kazian. Setting target allows maximum 2 hours per week. Can it be increased like 14 hours per week?
Hey everyone. So currently the maximum threshold is 2 hours per week, and it cannot be increased to more than 2 hours. So 2 hours is a maximum threshold where you can go ahead and set up the learning goals in the platform.
All right. Thanks, AJ.
Perfect. Thank you so much, AJ.
Sugam, next one for you. Can I retake the skill assessment? Question coming from Ravindra.
Excellent question, Ravindra. Yes, you can retake the skill assessment, and there are actually 3 ways to do it. So just to give you that feeling of skill assessment, I'm just going to open one in front of me here. For example, this one, which I've already taken. So the 3 ways are, one way is to retake the assessment within 48 hours of the first assessment, and the higher score will be considered. Second is to watch at least 60% of the recommended courses based on your skill gap analysis of our adaptive test before you can actually unlock the retake. And the third way is to automatically unlock it after 30 days from the first assessment. So if you look at this one, I have recently taken this track your skill progress, come back on October 2 to retake this assessment because I already utilized the 30 days time period after which it got unlocked. I hope this answers your question, Ravindra. Perfect, good questions.
Great. So I've got one more here from Bharat. Do we get a course completion certificate?
Absolutely. Thank you for the question, Bharat. And we get this from a lot of our audience because since everyone is working from home, people actually tend to learn more from Pluralsight. And you would definitely like to share something like this if you achieve something in a technology area. Probably you would like to post it in LinkedIn or the other social networking sites. So it's pretty evident that you would like to view and download the course completion certificate. To do that, all you got to do is just go on the right corner here and go to your history. So as you go to the history, you will find the content that you're currently watching as well as the ones that you have completed. So you will see a certificate icon on the courses just like this one, as long as you have completed it 100%. So why Kubernetes, this is one course which I have completed. So I'm going to click on the certificate icon and you would see the certificate of completion here. So you could download it and you could share it. So yeah, I mean, other than that, Raj, do we have other questions? And thank you for that question, Bharat.
All right, so I guess that was it, Sugam. Yeah, from the Q&A perspective.
Sure. I believe I do see these questions still coming up, I believe.
Oh, no, there's another one from
Yep.
Purushottam.
Yep. One moment. All right, so Purushottam says for the project managers and analysts, there are skill sets available mainly related to Agile and Scrum. And he plans to cover other important areas like wireframes, prototype designing, or documenting functional specifications, system requirement specifications. Great question, Purushottam. So yes, we are still working on that angle from a project manager and the analyst perspective. That is still in the roadmap. A lot of our content is based on the demand, and we actually assess different job roles across the industries. We look at the technologies that those job roles are actually using day in and day out. And based on that, we partner with our authors, which is like 6% of the authors get selected in our evaluation process, not all of them. So it will take some time to get to wireframes and prototype designing for sure. I hope that answers your question, Purushottam. All right. Do we have anything else, folks? I believe that's pretty much it in terms of the questions, Raj. So I also wanted to take time to cover Pluralsight Live. I'm not sure if you guys have heard about it, but we have taken Pluralsight Live 2020 virtual and made it free for everyone. I wanted to invite you and your teams to tune in because PS Live is your chance to broaden your belief in what's possible with technology. This conference is about equipping technologists like you with the knowledge you need to think and do bigger. You will hear from the experts across the tech landscape for sure, and there will be breakout sessions along with unconventional fun opportunities to connect with the leaders in technology, in HR, in L&D. So if you have never attended a Prosite conference before, do check out 2019 live recap for an idea of what to expect. So yeah, I hope to see you guys there. At last, I would say the time is now. Don't get left behind. Go ahead and start with skill IQ and see where your gaps are, and we will guide you addressing those gaps. As per the study, it takes 21 days to form a habit, right? I mean, yeah, it could be if they've said so. However, in my personal opinion, it takes willingness and interest to make learning a habit. So today, after this webinar, you will receive an email where I would request you to spend 2 minutes providing a feedback. That email would also contain the webinar recording, so feel free to watch it offline, share, and come up with more questions for me. Me and Raj would be really glad to help over an email as well. We could schedule a call to help you out with your learning journey and scaling up. With this, I wish you all the best for addressing your skill gaps through Prosite and for your learning journey. Don't forget to make me a part of that journey. But after all, I've been there, I've been on the other side. And I wish all of you and your loved ones, you stay safe, stay healthy, take care. I'll see you again. Thank you so much, everyone.